This session is, of course, about our own technology, Naviate, and in regards to sustainability. And today, this is a Q&A session, so I appreciate if you can ask questions after I have walked through the initial presentation, and I have some questions prepared for you, so you can use that as a base. And yeah, that's it. So I prepared a small agenda, talking a little bit about Naviate and the Naviate applications that we have today, both for Revit and Civil3D. Some key trends in the AC industry today. A little bit about the evolution of BIM in construction that we have seen the last 20 years, and some Q&A around sustainability. So today we have 10 plus applications on for Naviate, both for the Symetri part. As you can see, we have the road, we have the pipe, etc. And we have some about 8 plus applications for Naviate for Revit. The only product today that kind of goes into the sustainability question is our daylight application. Resides below what we call Naviate analysis, but it's an application for daylight simulation, making sure that the offices of the house are according to local regulations. So if you look on the trends in the building sector now in 2021, the key trends, it's all about loss and IoT. You want to monitor and get insight on your buildings, how it's performing, what it's delivering, etc. There's a lot about AI. You saw Autodesk bought Spacemaker back last year, a solution that optimizes the building site depending on different regulations that you put into the model, and based on that you will get some results that you can work on with your design. The third one, that we are moving into the cloud. All of us had to been working from home last year, and being able to access the cloud, sharing and working with in a cloud environment has been very important for us. Also, the pandemic situation have made a little bit more importance around having a smart city infrastructure that complies with how we are going to work today and in the future. And you also heard that Sveko talked about yesterday, talked about that we probably will be not moving into cities, but maybe moving out in the countryside again, and city infrastructure element. The last one is integration of digital twins, smart buildings, be able to simulate how the building will be performing before it's even built. So a little bit about the evolution of BIM. Back in the 90s, we was working with 2D and 3D CAD models, heading into the BIM environment back in 2010. And last year, there was a lot of talk about BIM and digital twins, being able to virtually simulate every building asset in real time and make qualified decision on that digital twin. So heading into the future, we would like to see those digital twins in connection with some smarter building platforms. We can even get more metrics on the assets, how it's performing, and delivering information not only for the designers and the construction, but also the people or those who are going to use the buildings in the future for 50 years or 60 years, etc. So my questions for you today is, In a Naviate perspective, do you see any need of tools to support sustainability from a Symetri side? You have the Naviate applications today. We have some third-party partners like One-Click LCA, our Finnish partner, supporting a lot of things around sustainability. So please comment or type your questions, or you can also activate your audio and video and ask your questions live in the room here. Nothing? You are okay? I have a comment from David. You can see in the chat. Value-driven visualization based on sustainability aspects ought to be a feature of every piece of software to visualize GIS or BIM data. If you look on the Naviate application today, as we see it, we have introduced or enhanced our parameter functionality, making you able to add information to the model directly without like an Excel environment. We added the classification tool last year, end of December, being able to add classification to according to the different local requirements. Currently we're supporting the Danish ones, Sweden is to come, and of course Norway and Finland, etc., and UK also. Our thinking around the classification tool is to also support other things, like if you have a value list for carbon emission on some elements, building objects, you have the possibility, should in the future have the possibility to add those results or settings parameters into the model. So yeah, carbon footprint is a question. We also have a new requirement coming in Sweden next year. The Klimatdeklaration, climate. All the buildings have to have a stamp that is according to the new climate declaration for Sweden. And now that the One-Click LCA solution are supporting that when it's available, that's a cloud solution. So is that something you would rather have within the design tools, within Revit today, to do it there, or is it preferable for you to have it in a cloud solution, exporting your model to the cloud and then do all the calculation estimates and have the reports created there? It's a very silent audience. I see there are a lot of you here, but nobody is chatting or talking. Anyone would like to be on the stage here in the room? Talk a little bit about how they're doing today and what tools they are using. So David.
Thanks for having me. David Hero from Sweco, Sustainability Coordinator for our IT division. It is very important that every piece of software does allow direct integration with environmental product declarations. I know that you have that feature ready through One-Click LCA, And that's very important because the architects and engineers must be able to lab from the carbon point of view or from other environmental aspects point of view. It's not enough that the Swedish Housing Association enforces climate calculations on buildings, because it still allows to develop carbon driving buildings. What we must allow directly in the software is to identify materials and solutions that drive carbon, that drive cost, that drive environmental impact, so that before we do the final calculation that the Swedish Housing Association wants, we would have as low carbon footprint. Now, I'm a millennial. I don't really care much about BREEAM or LEED stamps on buildings. I care about climate neutral, because I want to live 60 years on a planet that will support my life. And this is very important, that the software developers understand their role in inviting user experience designers who translate the carbon calculations to visualizations and heat maps, etc., that intuitively help the architect, the engineer, to design the most sustainable solution without even having to like lab with carbon numbers.
Very good input, David. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Would you like to have some comments, Bosse? Gunnar, Head of Development, the product owner of Naviate. Any thoughts on what David just shared with us? No. Anyone else would like to follow up what David just shared with us? As he mentioned, we have the one-click LCA, of course, but having the architect engineer being more able to use the data, visualize, present heat maps, that they are working on a climate neutral building and deliver that to the customer or the building owner, etc. No? Now it's kind of difficult, and don't be shy to share video, your cam and sound, and let us know what you think. We have if I ask the last question here, would you like to see more happening on your desktop, the laptop, in the solution, or would you like to see more happening in the cloud from Symetri? I also see additional comment from David here. To have some sort of chatbot that would sit on a sustainability knowledge, and inside that the architect and engineer could chat with. So supporting a feature that could help you comply with regulations around sustainability. I'm not sure if that could happen within the Naviate environment on the platform Revit or Civil3D, but yeah, good thought, definitely. So if I often really like to pick people when they're not talking. So Paul Hove in Norway, my colleague there, would you like to share some insight thoughts around the Norwegian market? So Paul, welcome to the stage. I need your sound. I don't have the sound.
Now you can hear me, I guess.
Yes, great. Thank you.
That's good. Yes, I can share some of the thoughts or experience I'm seeing in the market in Norway. And your last question is quite, up to date, I would say, because there is a lot of requests to work more in the cloud, as we know. That had really been in focus for the last year when the pandemic hit us. That everybody wants to projects in the cloud, and I really want to see more also from the Naviate side and integration with the cloud-based solutions which is out there. From my point of view, is of course Autodesk products I'm working with, and there I see a lot of need to integrate Revit and then Naviate closer to the cloud-based solutions we have today.
Do you see that trend continues, all into the cloud and moving away from the desktop way?
Yeah, that's what's happening all the way, that everything is moved to the cloud and away from the desktop. And in that way, we also have to follow up with the Naviate products that are in line with that trend, I would say. That trend is not only in our business, is in all aspects, I would say. But especially in our business, we see quite heavy growth in these days when it comes to moving things to the cloud, yes, for sure. And also with the collaboration in the projects, it makes things much more easy. We saw yesterday there was a company, POB entrepreneur, that got a prize, and that's exactly what they are doing, is moving everything, all communications, everything in the projects to the cloud, accessible to everybody, and making the collaboration much easier in the projects. And this is the trend we see all the way, not only for the architects and the engineers, but also when it comes to the contractors and the building of the building. And we also see what Per Bjernes is telling about digital twins. It's go the same way all the way. So from my point of view, it's important that we are following up with Naviate in all aspects and maybe are a bit ahead to see what's going on and where should we be with the products.
So one approach could be to have a focus on, how should I put it, more bi-directional communication with different cloud sources, moving data in between those solutions, or?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have for a long time did integrations or exchange of information. You can see the BCF format that we implemented a long time ago, but it's still from application to application and not in a cloud-based solution. We also have a cloud-based solution for it, but I think Naviate should also look more into collecting the data in the different solutions which is out there, and not only from application to application, but also look at our cloud-based solutions, but maybe also our competitors.
Makes sense.
I think that was my input.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for sharing, and I did some notes here as well.
You're welcome.
If I see him here, Patrick, is you here now? No, I thought he was attending. Yes, I guess we have to move into the main room and listening to what they are sharing now for the next session. So thank you for your input. Thank you, David, for sharing. Thank you, Paul, for sharing your thoughts about the Norwegian market, and see you next time. Thank you.